Welcome back to another video. It's Bradford Northampton match preview. Let me know score predictions and thoughts going into a game in the comments down below. It's a big game. I think we need to get back to winning ways. Obviously 2 games without a win. They're on a decent run. We've had 6 draws in our last 11 games, and we need to carry on from the Gillingham second half as opposed to that first half and starting slow again. I think it's a game where we can't be putting pressure on ourselves, whether that's playing out from the back, overplaying, and putting pressure on our centre backs. I think played the percentages not throughout the game, but I think like Mark Hughes said, after the disappointing draw to Gillingham, who sit 15th now with 52 points, I think he said something like, "There's about getting a balance right, playing short when you need to, but when you need to go long, don't be afraid to do it." And that's what we didn't get right in the first half. Second half, we played really good football, getting it down the flanks, getting crossed into a box, shots off, getting up the pitch, bodies in the area, and do a really good mixed style of play to us, which we need to carry that on against Northampton. Now, it's going to be a tough game. We all know about Northampton. They're second in the league with 80 points from 44 games. Like I said, they're nearly promoted, although they bottled it last season with Bristol Rovers, I think, on goal difference. I think they won 7 odd, Bristol Rovers, in their last game of the season. That allowed them to pick Northampton to automatic promotion to League One, and Northampton obviously didn't go through the playoffs like it's looking likely that we'll have to. But let me know your thoughts on who you think's gonna what the final outcome is going to be from 8th to 2nd. So my predictions: I think Mansfield will finish on 78 points. I can't really see them not picking up wins against Colchester or Harrogate. Then on to Salford, who are currently sat in 6th, one place above City. They've got some tough games as well. I think they've got to play Sutton and Carlisle. Carlisle on Saturday, big game for the playoff picture. But I can only see them picking up 74 points, which stands them in 8th. Carlisle, I think they'll finish on 79 points. Stockport, I think they'll finish below them with 77 points. Stevenage, I think, will get automatic promotion with 81 points. And that'll leave them tied with Northampton on 81 points as well. And I think Bradford City will finish on 77 points, which will be enough in my view to get playoffs, but not enough to be finishing in the automatic promotion spots where we had aspirations to finish, of course, at the beginning of the season. There was uproar on Twitter because Andy Cook obviously got robbed of the award. However, does it really matter? Probably not. Hoskins will probably have another good game. He's obviously a good player. He's obviously one of their key players. He's got 21 goals and 7 assists this season. Other players like Mitch Pinnock, he's had a very good season. I think he might have got in the team this season, but correct me if I'm wrong. 6 goals and 7 assists from him. And then the final key player, they've got many. They've got loads, like I touched on. And I think they've got loads of players injured at the minute as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think that a lot of their key players are out injured and have been for quite some time. And I think that's brought in Sean Dyche's son, Max Dyche. Let me know how he's been getting on. So moving on into the past and presents. Off the top of my head, I can only name 2, so let me know in the comments down below any more. The 2 obvious ones really. Richard O'Donnell played there for half a season in 2018, obviously relegated with Rochdale this campaign, and Matt Duke as well, 2 former keepers from Sheffield playing for Northampton in the last decade. Moving on into the results, we had a 2-2 draw obviously against Gillingham at home, a 1-0 defeat to Swindon away from home, a 3-0 win against Rochdale away from home, a 3-1 win against Sutton at home, and a 0-0 draw against Crawley, in which Matty Black got sent off, of course. Their last 5 results: a 3-1 win against Harrogate Town at home, a 2-1 win against Sutton away from home, a 0-0 draw against Carlisle away, a 2-1 win against Gillingham at home, and a 3-0 defeat to Newport away from home. So some tricky games in there, and some others like a Harrogate that have got the big 3 points against as well. They're a good team, and they're going to possess a lot of good qualities that we did struggle to come up against in the previous game in the reverse fixture. I can't remember when it was. It was 19th of November 2022. A 3-1 defeat at home. We conceded some really poor goals. The one that stands out is the Smallwood misplaced pass that went straight to them and they buried it. And then, you know, the game went away from us with quite a few mistakes. And they were just a very good, well-drilled side. They had a good mixture of styles of play. They played out, but they were a good physical side that pressed up the pitch and made it hard for us. And it was one of our worst performances of the season. I think it was a cold Tuesday night as well. So hopefully, if we, as long as we don't turn up like we did on that night, then we might stand a chance against Northampton. The previous 5 results to that: a 0-0 draw away from home on the 9th of April 2022, another 1-1 draw on the 20th of November 2021, 2-1 win on the 7th of September 2019, a 2-1 defeat at home on the 13th of January 2018, a 1-0 win away from home on the 23rd of September 2017. If you go back all the way to 2010, the 25th of September, that was the last time we got beat away from home at Six Fields. That was a 2-0 defeat. So we've got a good record against them. We obviously beat them in the League 2 playoff final, a 3-0 win, one of the most comfortable wins in history for Bradford City, and hopefully we can replicate that and not the reverse fixture. Into the starting lineup, let me know yours in the comments down below. It's definitely an interesting one for debate. What formation do you go with? Do you change the team? Who comes in for Thierry Nevers, or does Critchlow drop out? There's many different ways you could go with it, but I'm sticking with a 4-2-3-1 because of one man, and that is Scott Banks. If you go with a diamond, you can't get Banks in. I don't think he's a number 10, and I don't think he could do a job up front. I don't think he has the physicality to play up there. And he's so good off that right hand side, cuts inside, comes back out, left foot, right foot, he's developed, and I can see him getting 2 or 3 more goals at the end of the season, because whilst he's missed some big chances recently, all he needs is a bit more luck. Lewis in goal, obviously, you know, you'd go with him. Halliday, Stubbs, Critchlow and Rideout. I wouldn't drop Rideout. I think he had one of his best games as well on the weekend, and it seems pointless to drop him now for Taraji Bowler. Critchlow, I think it's a debatable one. Some might bring Platt back in just for that assurance, just for a bit of no nonsense. You know, I can't remember many mistakes apart from his 2 red cards, where he just lost a bit of composure, but he's very decisive, and he hasn't really put a foot wrong, like I say, apart from those 2 red cards. But I have trust in Hughes. He's watched Critchlow in training, he sees his body language. I trust him to understand how he's feeling in training and whether he can bounce back and have a good game on the weekend. And I would start him just from the outside looking in, and I think he will have the character to bounce back, and he has been one of our standout performers this season. You know, obviously what went on Saturday night was just unacceptable, and they're the type of people who shouldn't be at Valley Parade. Smallwood and Gilead as well in midfield, they've really stepped up recently. Banks on the right, Walker down the middle. I think he's struggled recently, you know, that final ball, that he's lacked a bit of a good touch. But hopefully Hughes is just trying to play him into a bit of form, and hopefully he can reach his potential, because he's definitely got more that he can show for City, but recently he struggled. But who would you bring in? Got Dion Pereira. I think that he should come back in the team, because Thierry Nevers didn't take his chance. Costello, don't really want to talk about him. Osadibi could play off that left hand side, but maybe he's more of a central midfielder. I think maybe I'm a bit stupid, but I do think that Dion Pereira, there's something there with him that can produce a bit of magic from nowhere. Maybe it's a bit of nostalgia from last season, but I do think he does deserve his chance to come back into a team, and I can just see him scoring a goal or 2. We all know why we wanted him back in the summer. We all know what he did at the end of last season. He had that magic, he could unlock doors, he could take it, when he got on the ball, he knew we were going to go past 2 or 3 players, and he hadn't done that this season. But also, at the beginning of the season, when he was getting his weekly starts in the team, he was playing with Chapman, and he doesn't have that connection with Chapman like he did with Walker, and Walker as well, maybe playing with Dion Pereira, will get that understanding back and form a bit of a partnership. I don't know if he quite has that with Banks, but Banks has been playing out of his skin. So I would bring Pereira back in, mainly because there's no other suitable options to be playing off the left. I would like to go with a diamond, but you can't take Banks out of the team. And then obviously Andy Cook up top. So let me know your score predictions. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I can see us getting 5 points from now to the end of the season. Let me know how many points you think we'll get on. Where do you see us coming in the league? I think I've got us in 5th, joint 5th with Stockport, so that's who we'd end up playing in the playoffs. Let me know your predictions for the playoffs. So yeah, it's a massive game. Looking forward to it. Like the video if you did, subscribe if you're new. Thank you for 100 subscribers on the last video. Have a good one.